cold, wet, miserable. The only highlight was we did have a little bit of sunshine first thing in the morning after a freezing cold night. It's quite chilly in here. I had the fire on earlier, but that's obviously gone now. So what I thought I'd do, it's a nice warm summer's evening. We'll have a nice sunset, nice calm waters, a few rocks. We'll do it that way. Okay, colours. What colours have I got? You do know I use oils. This can be done with acrylics, but you'll have to work a little bit harder. I've got my liquid grey, liquid opal, and I've mixed in a patch of liquid white because I want a really nice bright spot where the sun is. So what colours do we have? We have titanium white, cerulean blue, I've got Prussian blue. I actually got some more burnt sienna, yay! And I'm not using black, I'm using Payne's grey. Picked up some rose, a little bit of alizarin crimson, some lemon yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, and of course my bright red to sign. Okay, first thing we've got to do, what we've got to decide is where the horizon is. Well, as I've got sort of half and half here, I'm going to put the horizon in around there. So the first thing I'm going to do is mix some blue with quite a bit more of my Payne's grey. I've chosen Payne's grey because it's not quite as dark as the jet black. Now what did I say? I'm going to go, so we've got to be brave from the start, guys. Brave from the start, right across your painting. Okay, one fell swoop. Straight across. We'll go back to emphasise a little bit of, there we go. And that's it, guys, okay? No, in all seriousness, it's not it. That's just your first bravery. That's just your first bravery stroke. Okay, then I'm going to go down into my yellows and my orange. Okay, we're going to mix those together and we're going to pop these in here. It's going to be a bit of a streaky sky. Okay, so we're just going to pop those in. And because we're having a reflection, we're having water, try and reflect-ish in the water. Okay, a little bit more over here, a little bit over there. Then I'm going to go into, I'm not going to go into the red, I'm going to go into the rose. I'm going to mix it with these two colours. So I've got a lovely rosy orange colour. I'm going to pop that in along here. You don't have to be spot on with this, you know, absolutely perfect. Or with your reflections. It's still not loaded, guys, so I do apologise. Okay, a little bit more over here, I think. There we go. Okay, looks a little bit psychedelic, but we'll be okay. Do have to wash the brush because I do want to keep my colours quite pure tonight. Normally, I don't mind mixing and blending, but tonight I want them to be quite clear. So I'm now going to go into a little bit of cerulean blue and I'm going to mix that in with the Payne's grey, and we're going to have that sort of colour at the top. Now bear in mind I am mixing this with the grey, the liquid grey that's already on there. So a little bit cerulean blue and then I'll mix it in with the Payne's grey and we'll get a darker colour, because obviously if you've got twilight then you are quite dark. You know, it's beginning to, the sun's beginning to disappear over the horizon. Okay, so take that right across. Now if you are commenting, guys, I do apologise. I'm leaving it to my youngest because I cannot see anything. I can't see comments. There's obviously a lot going on with the internet tonight. so I can't see you commenting. But if you're on YouTube, that doesn't matter because I'll see your comments. If you're watching this later on YouTube. Okay, so we're going to bring that. And I want this fairly plain. I don't want an awful lot going on in the sky apart to dull the colour. Okay, we'll take a little bit more of that colour. Mix a little bit of the Prussian blue with it this time. We'll have a little bit over here. A little bit down this side. Okay. Sorry guys, excuse my back. And we'll bring that to there. And this side. And for those of you who are in Peterborough, you know I normally go to the cathedral at Christmas, well, for their Christmas fair. I won't be there this year because they've moved it, and because they've moved it, I double booked because I'm actually booked to go to another craft fair, the Iceni Meadery in Alton. I'll give it one more go. Right, so now let's try mixing these colours a little bit. Take them out. There we go. Lots of lovely colours. Take it up into the sky a little bit. There we are. And here we'll just go straight across because, as you all know, water is flat. So we'll just drag it across. Alright. Now, I do think it needs to be a little bit brighter. That's not as bright a sky as I imagined it would be. So we'll stick some more in. We'll put some more colour in. So a little bit more of this rose maybe. That's better. Take that up into the sky a bit. Now I'm deliberately leaving that little bit there blank, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so now we need to do those colours again, a bit heavier in the water. So we'll stick that in there, a little bit more over there, and some more down here. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to reinforce the yellow. There's an awful lot of brush washing. I do have 3 or 4 brushes for when I give lessons, but I'm not using them tonight. It's funny, you find one brush and you just really like it. So I'm actually going to just do straight lemon yellow as well. Add a little splash of warmth in there. There we are. And obviously we're going to have to do the same down here, don't we? So it's down there, across there, and a little bit down there. There we are. Yes, that's getting better. Okay, so I will take one of my dry brushes and we'll blend this a little bit. There we go. And just straight across here. As I said, that's the sea. Okay, so what are we doing now? Because when I do online lessons, I don't have an issue with it. Right, going straight into the white. Now, I'm going to lay quite a lot. I'm putting quite a lot on my brush. And I'm going to lay some there. Now, as soon as it gets any, picks up any colour, which it will, okay, there we go, and we'll lay in some colour, and there goes a brush, but don't worry about it. So we now need some white here, okay, to reflect in the sun. I'm going back and I'm actually going to use my knife because I really want some white laid in here. Okay, there we are. Really want, because all these colours, so behind that cloud, if you like, there will be, okay, we'll reflect that down. We'll very, very lightly zip that up. All right, so now set that in. There we go. Okay, needs to set up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so the sun is actually behind that yellow cloud, which I will now make a little bit more orange. It's going down. So we'll add a little bit Payne's grey in with the pink, and we'll just add a few little bits of shadow across in front of the cloud or the sun there, just for a little bit of contrast. Okay, and that will fade out to nothing over that side, and it can fade out to nothing that side. All right, so that's just the one cloud. We can turn some of these into clouds as well, if you really want to, just so that they can see that there's a little bit of cloud going on. And there we are. Okay, I think I might actually do another one up here. Now I'm going bright colours, as I say, it's such a cold, miserable day outside. I just want some really nice colours in the sky. I think we'll do some more up the top there. There we go. There. All right, so better. Okay, now I'm going to go straight into the Payne's grey. Because this is so bright, I think this will be a lot darker. So I'm taking my Payne's grey, turning my brush to a point, and pressing harder straight across. That little bit darker. There we go, just a little bit darker. Okay, so we're just going to come across like that. Okay, so that's basically all I'm doing in the sky. We'll add a little bit down here, a little bit of shadow, since we've got a few little shadows, and we will take the same colours that are in the sky, which is the phthalo blue and the Payne's grey, and we will put in some water. Now, don't worry about all the water, because I will be putting in some rocks and some grass and stuff like that. Okay, needs to be a bit more Payne's grey. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like I say, just keep it straight, keep the line straight. This is maybe why I keep having problems with the zoom. Okay, because I'm still going to Slimming World, and we do have the Zoom meeting still because obviously the lockdown. Okay, leave that there. See if that works. Okay, you're going to take the fresh brush, come from the side, just come across. Okay, we'll blend this in a little bit so it's not quite so. There we are. Okay, there we go. Because I've got rather hard lines coming around the corners here, so I just want to blend those a little bit so that they're not quite so horrendous. There we go. All right. So, right. I'll just wash my brush before I forget, because you know what I'm like. Okay. Moving on. Let's get my knife again. All right. Now, I'm going to use just straight Payne's Grey. No, I'm not. I'm going to use Payne's Grey with a little bit of dark sienna in it. So, that's my horizon. So, out of the horizon, let's put a big rock of some kind. And we can make it a cliff if you'd rather it was a cliff. Okay. Bring that around. There we go. And bring it into the water. It was a bit rugged, but what would you expect? A little cliff on the water. Little cliff, a little rock on the water. There we go. There's one rough rock. And I'm just going to take my knife and just run it across. There you go. And in the distance then, you will have, come from this side as well, just means that in the distance you will have a little bit of land. Alright, so I'm going to blend that bit so it's just a little bit of shadow. Okay, so now you've got some land either side. Okay, now let's put a little bit of orangey highlights on there. So we're going to take the yellow and the orange, and I'm going to take a little bit of the rose as well, throw that in there. A little bit of white, not mixing them really well. A little bit on my knife and just touching here and there. I'm going to get a little bit of reflected light. Okay, just on the tops. There we go, and down into the water. Now I will say there will be some dark shadows, so I'm going to say that that's my waterline and this will be my shadow. Alright, so there's my waterline there. So, clean my knife. There we go. Get my little brush and pull down, just so that you can see there's a little bit of shadow in the water. Alright, now that'll just set it, so if we then go across, that just sets it right into the water. So we need my, the smaller knife, I need some liquid white, just to show. So we'll have a little bit of water cut across it, a little bit of water in here. Honestly guys, I'm really sorry, I can see nothing at all. So I'm going to take that in there straighten that out and straight across. All right, so that's that bit. I did put my brushes on there to hold that in place a little bit, but it's not working either. Not having a very good day today, am I? Okay, now take my big knife again, using the same colours. I'm going to have another one, but it's just going to sit in here, in the middle, in the water. It's not going anywhere. Okay, it's just going to sit here. In fact, it's too big a knife. Let's use the smaller one, because I just want it sort of sat there like that. Just breaking up a little bit of water. There we go. I'll put that one coming out that way a bit. Okay, again we'll have a shadow. Take my brush, just gently drop it down, a little bit longer in there, straight across. Then a little bit of the colours, the mixed colours. As you can see, they're not, clean my knife first might help. As you can see, they're not totally mixed. I don't have them totally mixed, just so that we can just bounce a little bit of light. I can come around the corners. In fact, I'm going to go back up to that one and put a little bit of light on there as well. I think there'd be a little bit of light on the top there. And I'm going to have a little bit of light coming down there like that. And the rest of it's in shadow. Again, take the liquid white, and we will have a little bit of water winging its way around. Like I say, it's going to be a calm day. Don't want any storms. A nice peaceful day to make up for the awful weather we've been having. Okay, so there's a little bit of water on there. Now the idea and the inspiration actually from this, I will give credit where credit is due, comes from a lady I follow. She's a French artist. Don't know where she's based, I'm assuming it's Paris, but she always does all her work with knives. She doesn't do any work at all, hardly, with the brush. Now I'm the opposite. I try and avoid my knife like the plague. But so she works with the knife, and she's come up with some really beautiful ideas. And this one, although it's not the same as hers, it's along a similar line in that it's beautiful and colourful. Yes, it is. It is. It is. Honestly, it's really nice. You'll like it. I've just had I don't know, I'm ignoring it. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come from this side. So if you can imagine, we've got a bit of a bay and a bit of a water's edge that's going to come round there. So we'll just bring that down, right the way down into the corner. And we'll bring that like that. Oh, don't tell me the page has actually loaded. Can't see anything, mind, but it's actually loaded. Okay, so I'm going to bring that. I'm literally just laying the paint on with the knife. I want it to mix with the colours that's already there, so that it seems like you don't know where the land starts and the water finishes type thing. It's really putting me off because I can't see you guys. I can't see who's watching, I can't see who's... Okay, I'm going to take that round the corner. And this is basically straight Payne's grey. So there's a tiny, tiny little bit of blue in there, or a little bit of brown, but basically we are now straight Payne's grey. Okay, so we'll tuck that in there, a little bit there, and I'll drag that down to there. Okay, there we are. Right, so that's going to be my land mass. Bring that round the corner. Take my fan brush and bring... No, I won't take my fan brush. Will I take my fan? Because it's quite rocky, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is take some of this colour and just bounce it here and there over the rocks. So it just little bits here and there, literally like I would the snow on a mountain. Okay, so just barely touching, bringing it round, just adding touches of colour to the high points in the water. So it's stuck, guys, it's not loading up at all. I don't know why. Do you know, Apple did a huge upgrade on their Macs, and ever since then it really hasn't liked showing me my live sessions. So now what am I going to do? I keep picking up that fan brush, but I don't want it. What I want is, I have somewhere, yay, here it is. Again, I'm going to go straight into the Payne's grey. I'm going to mark it with thin it with a little bit of thinners. And I do use the Bob Ross odorless thinners because they seriously are odorless. Okay, so from the bottom, we're going to come up and we're going to have some grasses. Okay, because this is where we're watching from. We're looking at this place. There we go. Be brave, bring them up, nice and tall. There we go. A little bit of white with them, so you get some colour. There we are. Bring them from the other side. There we go. There we are. A little bit of grasses there. I will take a little bit of this bright colour as well. Add that to it. A little bit of the yellows and the orange, where maybe they're catching a little bit of light. There we go. And then coming right off the camera. Right off. So now I'm going to take the Payne's grey and mix in some brown, because we are going to have a tree, and this tree is going to come from down here, because if you imagine the land is coming round, so this tree is going to come from off the canvas right up. Okay, so we'll do, it's going to have to be fairly big. There we go. I know he's going to look like a palm tree. Excuse my back for the moment, but I do need to straighten up this side. Now, I'm not going to add any highlights to him because, in fact, I'm going to straighten that kink out a little bit. There we are. I'm not going to add any highlights to him because, to be fair, the highlights will be on the other side. So, we'll come up. There we go. And then we'll have, he can have a big branch, splits off the tree, coming up this way. Over that way. Again, we'll mix some more colour. And that can come up that way. Okay. There we go. So, we'll put another branch up there just to hide where I've gone over a little bit. Make that a little bit thicker, so that's like the prominent branch. So I'm actually going to thicken up my tree towards the base because he's actually getting to be quite a big tree now. Okay, so there we are. Okay, going to take my brush again, my liner brush, script liner. We will take this and we will create. So all I've done is added a little bit of thinner to the mix. There we go. I do hope I've got some people watching actually. It's so frustrating painting blind. I can't even, because my iPad's an older iPad, so it doesn't connect to, doesn't use 4G and 3G and whatever. If there's no internet, it just won't play. Which is possibly why my laptop's not happy either. That's probably what I get for just recommending my internet, saying, oh, it's really good for the area. Well, guess what? Okay, so we're just doing, so I'm using the Payne's Grey as opposed to the black because I just want something not quite so dark. Payne's Grey is usually one of those colours, those that paint a lot will know, one of those colours that is wonderful to make a shadow because it's dark but it's not black. Okay, I'm going to take this one and bring it in front. To come up from there. It's going to come up towards, so is that one. Okay, and then we're going to come down. Okay, I'm conscious of the fact that this is a lot longer than I actually expected because, to be honest, I thought at the beginning this would just be such a little simple thing for anybody to do, which I suppose it is really. Okay, when you're doing your branches, hold your brush at the end, spin it, turn it, and you'll get some wonderful brushes. Brushes? No, you will get some wonderful branches. I'm going to take one that's going to come out over the sun. There we go. And I do feel it really needs one that comes off here a little way. Okay, so maybe it comes from the back. There we go, it's reaching up. Okay, now what I am going to do is I'm going to take I've got some liquid white, I'll mix it in with that, and I'm going to take a little bit of my pink. Okay, so I'm going to have sort of like as if this would be, say, a cherry blossom, and I'm just doing hints. Now if it doesn't stick, you will need some more liquid white. And I'm just going over, hitting where I think a little bit more pink, I think, because there we go. This bit of the tree I think is in more shadow. This one definitely is in shadow, so this will be almost straight pink. Okay, pretty much. All right, then I'll turn it round and I'll use the lighter end, because this bit here, I think in my mind, is almost white. So I'll take a little bit, oh, there we go, a little bit more liquid white. There we are. Okay, and then I'm going to leave that tree. I am going to add just a little bit of highlight colour. I can't believe they're still doing fireworks. Leave a little bit of colour on there showing. Perhaps we'll have a little bit showing here, so it goes up. Maybe a little bit on there. And then there we go. Right, and that, ladies and gentlemen, or whoever happens to be left watching, that is that. So I go into my bright red, put my palette down, making sure I've got enough red on there, go into the corner and sign. I need a little bit more red because there's 1,000 layers of paint down the bottom here. Okay, right guys, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I do apologise for the lack of communication, but I'm sure my son will have done what all sons would do, and it has answered your questions as fully as he possibly can, bless him. But thank you very much for your company tonight. This will be on the website as ever, rbayart.co.uk/store when it's dry. If you'd like to reserve it now, you can reserve it now and I'll deliver it, post it, whatever, when it's ready. The video should be up tomorrow night, hopefully, on YouTube. If you give me a little look, say hi, share, like, subscribe, click the bell, whatever, you know, all the stuff to do on, so much to do on YouTube, isn't there? Can't just watch a video. But yeah, thank you very much for your company. I will be back next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock. Don't know about the week after, because obviously it'll depend what Mr. Johnson says about the lockdown and whether we're still in it or not. If you have any suggestions or requests, or if there's anything you'd like me to particularly show, by all means, just drop me a line. I'm on Facebook, Ruth Baldry Art. I'm on Instagram, Ruth J. Baldry 9, and I'm on Twitter. See, my son's getting me involved in all sorts of things, so I'm here, there and everywhere. But anyway, it's cold. I'm now going to go and get a hot cup of tea. So thank you very much for your company, and I will see you same time next week. Hopefully a little bit warmer. Bye-bye.